Alright, so we got a lot of new people in. We did our last promo for 2014. We're going to be closed until 2015. So we got a lot of new people in. So for all you new people, the way that my sessions usually work is I let people fire off questions in the chat box, and then I just go through them and answer them. Okay. And again, we got a lot of new people in, so we'll probably have a lot of questions today. And depending how many we get, we'll probably might go a little over the hour mark. And if need be, I'll just schedule another office hour in the next couple of days. You guys were promised one office hour a week for me, and at 1 hour office hour a week. But of course, we'll go above that if the questions if there's more questions. So we have no problem doing that. All right. So we already got questions rolling in. Again, if you got questions, go ahead and throw them in the box, and I'm just going to go through them in the order they come in. Again, for all you new people, I just do a screenshot, highlight the question I'm doing, and then you guys read along and I answer the question. And I'll just go through them as they come in. All right. So the first one is from Slav, asking how I ranked the SEO Nashville Weebly. Jimmy actually ranked some of this with GSA, and he has training on GSA in the members area. And then I also threw a few PBN links at it. So it was actually a mix of GSA and PBN links. All right, so from Paul, what's happening, Paul? From Slav again. Would it be too risky to buy high PR forum blog links to rank your Weebly site? Not necessarily. It depends what you use your anchor text for and how those pages are set up. I'd have to see the actual links, but likely links like that, depends on the setup. Like, is there a lot more content on the page? Would depend on what type of anchor text I would use. So usually like regular like blog commenting, I do like just the name because it's really hard to get keyword anchor text in there, but yeah, it's just Slav. It really depends on how those pages that you're getting those links from are set up. Like how much content's there. Is it just a link and all that stuff? But of course, for a Weebly site, you get more wiggle room, so you should be okay. Um, so I wouldn't say it's risky, but just be a little careful with it. It's not too risky though, especially since it's Weebly. From Anthony. Awesome, Anthony. Go ahead and shoot whatever questions you got in the box, and I'll get to them. From Slav. You can do both at once, Slav. I mean, it just depends how you want to go. And of course, what you can do is you can start with that Weebly and then 301 it over to your site, over to a regular site. So you could start with the Weebly if you wanted. From Slav again. No, I just do the embed code, Slav. That's all I do. Me personally. I'm not like a video expert, but that's all I've needed to do. From Slav. There is some weird keywords where it seems like YouTube videos don't show up, but I wouldn't necessarily say that should keep you away from a certain keyword, because there's plenty of keywords where I've seen no videos ranking for the first 10 pages, and I've ranked a video for it. So what you can do is just create a video, throw a couple PBN links at it, and see where it lands. If you do a couple PBN links and it's still not on the first page or in the first 10 pages, then maybe leave it alone. But yeah, just because it's not there, there's none there now, doesn't mean it can't be done. Just someone might not have done it yet. So let me get a new screenshot. All right, from Slav again. I mean, I just do that so I have an email for the site, Slav. Because it could show up in the who is information or whatever if you use it for that. I just like having an email on the domain set up for the site, and I just forward it to my regular email. It's just something I always do, just in case I ever need it or whatever the case. That's why I do it. As far as SOA records, different web hosting companies do it different ways. So some will appear if you don't change them, and other won't. So it just depends on what web host you have it with. And of course, I'll show you in my training how to change the SOA records for sites that make all the emails the same. All right, from John. I mean, as far as a good free way to brand a money site is you can do like blog comments, just kind of do like site name and like author name, which would be like your own name in a lot of cases. Where you just do that name like as the comments, go comment on relevant blogs. That's a good way to do it for free. Of course, paid way, PBN links with the name of your site or URL type links for the anchor text. So, but as far as branding, an easy cheap way is the blog commenting. So you can just comment on relevant blogs with a name or the name of the site or whatever, and those comments, as long as you have a good comment, good feedback to add to the comments, they usually get accepted. So, from Anthony Roberts. Yeah, you can definitely get juice from a domain that has a lot of links, even if those pages don't have page rank. Especially like if they're high authority domains. There's a lot of links from like high authority domains that have no page rank, but they can still pass a lot of juice because the juice from the main domain name is still passing juice to that page, or then passes juice to your site. So absolutely, it doesn't. They don't have to have page rank to pass juice. Absolutely not. Lonnie, how EMDs can be problematic because of the optimization, Lonnie. When you have a keyword as your domain name, you have a lot less wiggle room with your anchor text. So for EMDs, you can't be as aggressive with your anchor text. Like you probably want to start with like a URL link and then some long anchor text, and then slowly work towards your EMD keyword. All right. So as far as EMD, it just creates more. You're more susceptible to over optimization. Just have to be more careful with that anchor text. All right, from Paul. That's a great way to start, Paul, is to rank for city SEO. Because it can start bringing clients to you without you having to reach out to people, and it also gives you that proof that you can rank stuff. You just say, look, I rank for whatever SEO, I can do this, and it also has people coming to you, like I said. So it's a good place to start. From Bianca. Black networks. I don't remember anything about black networks, Bianca. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by black networks. If you reference like a specific video, I can take a look into it, but I don't know anything about black networks. From Anthony Roberts. What number of links do you feel good about on a domain? I mean, it depends on the competition, Anthony. There's certain sites where I have over 100 links, and there's certain sites where one link ranks the site. So I mean, it really just depends on the competition and if you have the keywords in the domain name or not, or in the URL or not. It just depends. And also, of course, the quality of the links you're getting, or the quality that you're getting your links from. The quality of the sites. From Don. Awesome, Don. Congratulations. Yeah, it's a tough question, Don, because really, like Ducks Pros Dallas, because you have Dallas in your domain name. it would be kind of weird to like rank for other cities on different pages. But what you could do is add in other cities like in your content on your homepage and target that homepage for those cities. But most likely, what I would do is have a different site for other cities. It stinks that they have Dallas in their domain. Not that if Dallas wasn't in there, it'd be a lot easier to do. And you can still do like you could do like ducksprosdallas.com/city name, and you target each city on an inner page. But it would just be I think it would be a little weird for the visitor that Dallas is in the domain name. You know what I mean? So from an SEO standpoint, you could do it. You could do pages as far like inner pages for different cities, but it's just what the visitor thinks seeing Dallas in the home page would be a little weird for them. So I mean, it is possible, but I just think it would be a little weird for the visitor. And it's just a shame they have Dallas in the domain name because it kind of just throws that off. But it's up to you what you want to do there. You could build another site that's like, ducksprostexas.com and then do each city name as an inner page. You could do it like that. That's probably what I would do. But it's up to you. Mary, EMD stands for exact match domain. It's when you have your keyword you're targeting as your domain name. Ferris, as far as ranking delay, what I'm seeing is, especially for newer sites, it seems like you get a little boost from a link within the first few days, like a very little boost, and then you slowly start getting more and more of a boost over the next couple months. And the full boost can take, it seems like, up to 2 to 3 months to kick in. It seems to depend how new your site is, and that depends on like how quickly the links kicks in and how much the link kicks in. And for example, I have some pretty high authority sites where my links, most of the juice will kick in within a week or two. Like I get most of the juice within a week or two because those domains are so trusted already. So I think it depends on, first of all, the authority of the PBN site. How good is the link coming in? Then also the authority of the money site. How trusted is the money site? So I think it's a combination of the two. So if you have like a weaker PBN going to a brand new site, it's going to take a while to fully kick in. Whereas if you have like a really powerful PBN link coming to a really powerful money site, it will kick in a lot quicker. All right, from Anthony. No, not unless those few links are very good links. It's all about quality of links. I don't care as much about page rank. From Don. I probably should, Don, to be honest. I just never got in the habit of it. But yeah, they should be built. They definitely should be built. And actually, for a lot of my bigger money sites, I do have them. But yeah, technically they should be built, Don. From Noel. I mean, it can be at first, Noel, but once you start doing it, it really becomes a lot easier. And that's anything you do. It's going to be tough at first, and then as you do it, you see that it's a lot easier than you thought, and you start getting used to it. And then by a little later on, it's pretty much second nature. So it's going to start that way, where it might seem a little confusing, or a little intimidating, but it gets a lot better as you do it. From Tim. Yeah, absolutely. Still able to get sites that are good for $69, and because a lot of people are running from PBNs right now, the prices actually have been down for me. So I guess it depends where you look, but yeah, that's definitely still available, Tom. Hello, Jacqueline. All right, from Tommy. I've actually never done a link detox, Tommy, so I'm not sure. I would ask that in the Facebook group. I've never really like tried to recover a site because I never had a site that's important enough for me to spend the time with the recovery. Okay, so usually in my case, it's like a site that I don't care about that much that got penalized, and it's better off for me to start a new site. So I've personally never gone through the process of trying to recover a site. Unless it's like little stuff like anchor text and URL combinations where I just do a little 301 redirect. I've never tried like the whole disavow process, so I would ask that in the Facebook group. Alright, so let me get a new screenshot. All right, from Anthony, do you optimize Weebly sites? Yeah, you optimize any site. Um, yeah, the same goes for any property. Of course, keywords in the URL are going to help you, but of course, then you got to be more careful with anchor text. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to optimize any property you do. From Sean, I mean, it really depends on what you want, Sean. I mean, I would personally start building out your PBN. If you've gone through the orientation already and you got David Mills' advice, start building out a PBN, then decide what you want to do from there. Do you want to build a city SEO site? Do you want to build a My City Guide site? Do you want to do client stuff? Do you want to do affiliate marketing? It really all depends on what you want. But a good place to start is just building that PBN so you have something to power any rankings that you want to achieve. Lon, UAW is Unique Article Wizard. It's something we used to use a long time ago to rank sites. We don't use that anymore, though. From Ferris. I don't know if we did get any clients from that yet, Ferris. Mike deals with all that. I don't even know. I think they are talking to some clients, if I remember correctly, but I'm not positive. From Bianca. I mean, I personally just do it myself, Bianca. It really is. It all depends on personal preference. I know people who are just as good at me that use software, and some people do it themselves like I do. I like to do it myself. It's just the way I've always done it. But I don't think there's a wrong way to do it, as long as you're properly checking the links going to the site. All right, from Neil. Yes, absolutely okay to buy PR0 sites if the links are good. I don't care about PageRank. From Paul. Either one. It just depends what direction you want to take. But either of those are a great place to start. My City SEO, My City Guide, and either of them will work. I mean, you can do My City Guide and then do something on SEO. You know what I mean? And that can kind of be like your SEO page on your My City Guide. So you can kind of do both of them on the My City Guide. So you can just do the SEO on the My City Guide. So that's a good way to start. GSA outsource. I use Jimmy when I need GSA, but I don't use it a ton. I use mostly PBN stuff. Um, but when I do need GSA, I just use Jimmy. But there are people in the Facebook group who do that, Paul. So I would ask in the Facebook group. From Don. I did nothing else besides what I showed on the videos, Don. And I pretty much do all PBN links, Don. If it's still not ranking after like a bunch of PBNs, I'll start looking into other stuff like Web 2.0, blog commenting, stuff like that. But for the most part, all PBNs. From Russ. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, that's not super important, Russ. I think you're talking about who is information. I'm not sure. Um, but it depends what the purpose of the site is. I mean, are you branding the company or are you branding yourself? Whichever one the answer is, I would choose that name. PBN sites should have a fake name. Yeah, you can do fake names for the PBN sites, Russ. Only in GoDaddy, though. Everything else use privacy protection. And we talk about that more in the training, of course. From Anthony. I mean, there's not really any must-haves, but as far as like finding PBNs, I really like having Register Compass and OpenSite Explorer. But I mean, there's not really any tool that you must have, because you can research for free with expireddomains.net, and then just use kind of like free versions of tools like Majestic SEO and stuff like that. Of course, you won't be able to look as deep into them, but you can start with the free versions. All right, from Bree. Uh, Make sure you went through the orientation stuff, Bree. David does a great job of setting all that up. And if you still have questions about it, email David at omgmachines.com. He's really good at getting people on the right track. Um, depending on where you are and all that. So that's a great question for David because he's just so good at like planning out a course of action for people depending on where they are. That's not really my skill set. All right, from Bianca. Yes. I mean, it's just before like 2007, sites used www in the domain for some reason, and then when 2007 around there came around, they started taking that off as like the like it used to automatically be there. Now it's not after 2007. So that's the reason why there's different like links going to this version or that version. Of course, there are sites after 2007 that still use www because you can set that up manually. Now you can change the setting, but now the settings are automatically set to have no www in it. So a lot of the sites after 2007 have most of the links going to that version. So, I mean, that's the only difference. Is just a change in the way that things were done. From Anthony, I usually do stuff that I'm involved with. Like for like e-cigarettes helped me quit smoking. I knew they worked, so I promoted them. It also promotes good. It's better for your health, and so I just go off like what's going on in my life personally. From Charlie, I talk about this in the training, Charlie. Just for interlinking, I pretty much link to other pages when it's natural. So if I have a site on gold and I mention silver, or let's say I'm doing a site on gold, I mention a silver IRA, and I have a page on silver IRA. When I mention silver IRA, I'm just going to link to that silver IRA page. That way, if they want that information, they can click on that link and go to the silver IRA page. But I don't really mess with links in the footer on my money sites. From RC. That's all in the supremacy section, RC. I do a few videos on that. It depends on what keywords are in your domain name. Like for keywords that are in your domain, you're gonna do a lot different than keywords that are not in the domain. I cover that in the training. All right, from truck. Awesome, a lot of stuff going on. I mean, hopefully you have web properties for these things which you can rank. So I would just use the skills you learn in OMG to rank the web properties you have to get more traffic. Okay, so that's the best way to promote your existing stuff. You just get those existing pages to rank with the SEO you learn from OMG, which would be building a PBN for the most part, and then sending links to those properties to get them ranking. From Paul, it's more than likely optimization, Paul. I would check your URL and anchor text combinations to make sure you're not over optimized or under optimized. And again, it depends what specific keywords are in the URL as to what anchor text you can use. If the keywords aren't in the URL, you can use pretty much all keyword optimized anchor text. So it really depends on that, and it's probably a optimization thing. From Paula. Yeah, social media links help YouTube videos. Yes. From David. Yeah, I mean, I still use them a little bit, David, but the main thing I do is PBN links. Automatic bidding. I mean, what I do for bidding, Anthony, is I just put in, once it gets to like the pre-release stage, I just put in my max bid, and if I get outbid, I don't worry about it. That's what I do now. From Ferris. For very competitive terms, Ferris, like if I need a ton of links, then yes. But for the most part, I do not use them. From Anthony. I mean, it depends how big your network is. I have host accounts where I have up to like 80 domains on there, or 60. But I also have 500 PBN sites, 500 plus. So it really depends on the size of your PBN. If you only have like 20, you might want to do like 2 accounts of 10, or even 4 or 5 would be cool. So it really just depends on the size of your network. From Noel. For the most part, they're permanent. Unless I no longer want the link, then I'll just delete the post. From Rob. Probably the My City SEO, My City Guide route, because that will have people coming to you. So let me get a new screenshot. Lots of people on. So what I'm guessing is we'll probably set up another session in the next few days, an additional session, but we'll see how far into these questions we get. All right, from RC. Yeah, I always choose themes that show the full article, RC. All right, I don't do the ones that do read more. What's up, Steve? Hello, Gebby, Ferris. I use mostly PBN, Ferris. From Steve. There's no really set way, Steve. I can just usually tell, just from experience, just like if it has like a ton of links and it's back on page 4 or 5, I just know. So I mean, it just really depends on how many links are going to the site and the anchor text, and again if those keywords are in the website name or not. So I mean, there's no really set way to find out anymore. You could actually put it in Webmaster Tools. I mean, that's the best way to find out, is kind of put the site in Webmaster Tools and see if you get any messages. But if you get no messages from Webmaster Tools, it's hard to know for sure. All right, so Webmaster Tools would be the best way to definitely find out. From Bianca. The main criteria of the links going to the site, Bianca. And we cover that very well in the videos in the supremacy section. From Low. I mean, just because I got hit so hard with the Perfect Privacy LLC thing, Low, that's why I recommend it. If you have like 100 links going to a site, and more than one is Perfect Privacy LLC, you'll probably be okay if like 2 or 3 of them are. But if you have like 10 links going to a site and 2 or 3 are Perfect Privacy LLC, you might run into problems. That's what I was talking about there. And it just goes for the sites that say Perfect Privacy LLC for the who is name. From Philip. It depends what type of penalties they have. You could try like some 301 redirects, because I don't know what the penalty's coming from. Like, is it a combination of your URL and anchor text combinations that it's just too much? You could try 301ing to a less optimized URL and see if that fixed it. But if that's not worth it, it's probably just better to build a new site. Again, I don't know how important these sites are, but if they're not like super important, it's probably just better to build a new site, in my opinion. If it doesn't work after trying the 301 redirects. From Don. I mean, you can still use it. You might get a little something out of it, Don. If you paid for it, you might as well use it. But yeah, in the future, you don't want sites that have all no-file links. You just don't get the same out of them. But yeah, I mean, you can still use it if you already paid for it. From Candace. Link juice keeper, Candace, or manual 301 redirects, depending on how many different pages those links are going to, and we cover that in the training as well. But yeah, just whatever redirect you use, whether it's Link Juice Keeper, the plugin, or manual redirects, it will redirect all those links to the home page and keep the juice. From Paula. Oh yeah, if it's only 14 days old, Paul, and it's on page 3, that's actually pretty good. Because brand new sites like that are taking they're not going to allow that to rank within 2 weeks at the top of Google. It's just the way it is now. So yeah, just give us some time. I think you're on the right track, Paul. If you're on page 3 already in 2 weeks, you're on the right track. So just give it a little bit of time and keep doing what you're doing. All right, so let's get a new screenshot. All right, from Andrew. What's up, Andrew? Yeah, that should be fine to do, Andrew. I don't think you should have a problem with that, especially since it's the same site. From Carol. Yeah, you could, Carol, as long as there's not like a ton of links going to it. Because if there's a ton of links going to it, that could throw stuff off. If it has like a ton of like spammy links to it, it's better off to start a new site. But if it's like a clean site that has no links going to it, absolutely you can use that. From Duncan. Yeah, I can write that down. Talk to David and see if what he thinks about that. All right, from Philip. Yeah, I recently did that, Philip. What I did was I saved all the articles and I waited until it was no longer showing up in Copyscape, and then I put them up on a new site. But I waited until they weren't showing in Copyscape anymore. From Lonnie. Yeah, we discussed all that in the training, Lonnie. Yep. From Elliot. Um, yeah, I mean, as long as you know that the site's just going to be targeting surgeons, that's fine. You can do it that way. From Rob. I just always just as long as it sounds natural, Rob. If you read it and anything's being forced, like you're just repeating keywords too much. You read it and you just kind of keep it, it just doesn't like register when you read it. Like not being natural, then I would tone it down. But for the most part, I don't even worry about it as long as it looks and kind of feels okay. I don't worry as much about the keyword density. PBN is a private blog network, Chuck. We talk about that in the supremacy section. Hello, Laszlo from Elliot. You can use a PBN broker. Gregory Ortiz is a good person to use for that in the Facebook group. From Don. I guess that's just preference, Elliot. I would put at least a few pages of content on. Done. I would add one site as you go, like one site at a time, Don. That way you can like see how it moves and make decisions from there. From Ferris. I've toned it down a lot, Ferris, where I'll just use a lot of LSI. Like, for example, if you're trying to like do how to make money online, it'd be like how to make money online, how to make cash online, making money online, how to make money online quick, making money online quick, ways to make money online, just stuff like that. And I'll keep switching up the anchor text like I do for sites. And it seems to work very well because you can just kind of keep doing that, and then you can start repeating keywords because you can get away with more with YouTube. So I don't do as much exact anchor as I used to. I do more switching up, like where I do a lot of LSI. From Laszlo. Yeah, I heard they're not doing PageRank anymore. I don't really care if they do or not. Doesn't matter. And we're on questions from 2:15, and it's 2:37, so we're about 20 minutes behind questions, just in case you've answered and I haven't got to it. Or you've asked and I haven't got to it. And we'll probably have to schedule another session in the next few days. From Laszlo, alright, we got that one from John. Yeah, I have a video specifically on this, John, that I just did a couple weeks ago. Whereas I'm not using Link Juice Keeper on most domains. Unless it has like a ton of inner pages that have links, I'm not using Link Juice Keeper. From Anthony. You are welcome, Anthony. From David. There's tricks we talk about in the training where you can boost it with subdomains. You can even build links to the home page and just build the authority of the home page. But of course, doing the subdomain thing will also build the home page authority. So we have all kinds of stuff from our training about that. From Neil. My favorite places are still Namejet and Snap. From Gebby, which of course you can find with Register Compass. I don't know what I did for like CalCast, but you can go to CalCast and check out the privacy page on this site and see what, because Martin set that up. We might just have a disclaimer. I don't even know if we have a privacy for this or not. It looks like we just have a disclaimer. Yes, we didn't set one up. We just kind of put a disclaimer on here. See, I would ask that in the Facebook group because I haven't done a ton of privacy pages and all that, even though I probably should. From Paula. That's weird. I mean, I still use it the same way, Paula. Right, I just use it to change the titles and sometimes the descriptions. That's about it. But there's probably another reason why an archive page is ranking highest. From GR. That matters a lot. Oh, you're talking about like .com, .org, .net. It matters a lot. But if you're using .com, .net, .org, those are all pretty much similar as far as power, and those are the only three I use. I use Register Compass, Michael. All that is in the supremacy section. From Adelaide. You're welcome, Adelaide. From Noel. For me, it doesn't matter. .com, .net, and .org all get like the same love for the most part. I mean, I guess .com is the best option usually if it's available because that's like the original. But .net and .org are pretty much the same as far as power goes. From Doug. Yeah, I mean that's fine to do. That's definitely fine to do. Because then you can just do keywords as inner pages. I mean, same thing as the guide, just a different word. From Don. GSA is like it's a tool that builds links for you, Don. They're kind of like lower quality links, but those are acceptable for certain properties, like like Web 2.0 properties, YouTube videos. That's what we use GSA for a lot. Is like those high authority properties where we can send those lower quality links. From Anthony. Yeah. Yep. Again, PageRank doesn't really matter as long as the good links are there. PageRank is not super important. I mean, PageRank is still like a determining factor. Like if something has a high PageRank with a lot of good links to it, the PageRank kind of just helps solidify it's a good site. So it still can be like used to determine if a site's good or not, but definitely do not base a site off PageRank. Like the links are more important, but it can help determine certain aspects. From Low. Again, I use Register Compass, and mostly I look at Snap and Namejet auctions, and I have no problem finding them low. I might build on like 20. I might bid on 30 sites a week and only get 5 to 10 of them, but I'm still getting 5 to 10 sites a week for pretty cheap. Of course, I do a good amount of research, so you just got to do the research. From Candace. As long as the links are good, doesn't matter. From Rory. Yeah, again, I'm not the best with recovery. I would probably ask that in the Facebook group. You'll probably get a lot of help about that from the Facebook group. There's some people that are really good at recovery. And I guess it depends, like, how bad it is, too. You know what I mean? So, you could, like, go through and disavow all the links going to the site and just kind of restart from there. But again, I would probably ask that in the Facebook group because I'm not a recovery expert. From Ferris. KKLS? I think you mean KLKS. Um, it's not that they're more likely to rank a website with non-exact keyword URL and title. It's all about the combination fair. So, as I talked about earlier, if your keywords are in your domain or in your URL, the more your keywords are in there, the less you can get away with your anchor text. Whereas the opposite, if you have like klks.com, you can get away with a lot more keyword optimized anchor text. So it's not really about like one of them, it's about both of them together. Okay. From Kathleen. David's email is david@omgmachines.com. From Elliot. Is there... Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. No, I mean, you can still identify it as being Tennessee, like, with your title and with your anchor text if you use this version. But, of course, this version just makes it plain and obvious. But, yeah, if you have this version, it's fine. Just identify it in your title, in your content, and in your anchor text. Have Tennessee somewhere in there so it identifies as, Franklin, Tennessee, and not like Franklin, Missouri, or whatever else. From Doug. Okay, awesome, Doug. I believe you're just making a statement to me. If you have a question, though, let me know. From Tom. I don't know what curation soft is exactly, Tom. I've never used it. From Welton. I wouldn't put all your money sites on one shared host because even though they're money sites on one shared host, they're all going to have um, the same IP. And if you use PBNs, for example, if you have like 10 PBNs and they're all linking to sites on the same IP, even though they're different sites, that can be a big footprint. So that's why I even put my money sites on different IPs because let's say you have a PBN and it's linking to 3 different sites, but all those 3 different sites are on the same IP. That's a huge footprint. So in order to avoid problems, I would just put them on different IPs. In the bid box, Anthony. So if you put in a max bid of like 300, and the next highest max bidder is at like 100, it will put your bid at 110, and then each time someone bids, it will jump it up. So if you put your max bid to 300 and someone bid 100, it will put in your bid for 110. If someone goes in and bids 120, it will bump your bid automatically to 130. And it will keep automatically jumping your bid until you hit the 300 mark. And if someone bids over 300, then you're no longer, the winning bidder. Okay. From low, I use Social Explosion low on all my PBNs. From Lonnie, not necessarily, and I talk about that in the training, Lonnie. It just depends how you want to have it set up. All right, from Tom. Pre-release just means like the pre kind of auction stage. So everyone that's in the pre-release gets to go to the final auction, Tom. So if you put in a pre-release bid with like 8 other people, you and those 8 other people will go to the final auction. So a pre-release guarantees you a spot in the final auction. Right? It doesn't mean you get the site. It just means you're saying I'll pay at least $69 for this, and I'll go into the final auction. From Paul. It doesn't matter. Either one, Paul. Most people just do a new site, but you can do one with existing power if you want. From Laszlo. You can change them all at once. There should be no problem with that. From Philip. Yeah, Gregory Ortiz in the Facebook group. From Ferris. I mean, probably just a sidebar link or something like that, Ferris. I don't know which link you're talking about exactly, so it really depends, but probably a sidebar link. Because when a link's on the sidebar, it appears on every page of the site where there's a sidebar, which usually is every page. I don't use either, Doug. But I'm not saying anything's wrong with them. I just don't use either. From Slav. Yeah, I've actually had experience where I've done that, and it messed up the site. So yeah, that could be true, and I don't do it anymore. Usually, I just delete the post and then make a new one. All right. From Wendy. Not necessarily a different host for each domain, more a different IP for each domain, Wendy. And as your network gets bigger, you are going to want different hosts. Like, if you have 20 PBNs, start with like 10 on one host, then maybe 10 on another. But yeah, the main thing is just having different IPs. Although, as your PBN grows, you want to use different hosts. You don't want all your PBNs on the same host as you get bigger. But as you're small, like having the same host isn't a big deal. From Carol. Check it in Ahrefs. So just run it through through here, right here, through this site, and it will show you like how many links you have. Like we run this site here. This site has 201 links from 51 domains. Then you can go look at the actual link quality by hitting links, and you can do the same things with OpenSite Explorer. Run it through OpenSite Explorer. All right, from Pris. It took like 2 weeks, Pris, I believe. from Thierry. Yeah, most likely I would start with a new site in that case, Thierry. Again, unless it's like a super important site, which I've never had happen, I would just start a new site. But as far as recovery goes, I would talk about that in the Facebook group, and Jimmy Kelly, who else? Mike Hayden. Those two are really good at recovery. There's a couple other people from Duncan or David Duncan. I was looking at the keywords and where they're currently ranking. Oh, probably Microsite Masters, Duncan or David. Micrositemasters.com. I believe that's what you're talking about. Subdomain training, I would ask David about that, or you can ask in the Facebook group. From Carol. You don't have to do the city you're in, Carol. You can do any city. It doesn't have to be the city you're in. So, I mean, you can just go after the same city, or you can pick a different city that you're not in. Like, it doesn't have to be your actual hometown or anything like that. Alright, we're catching up on questions. Alright, from Welton. I forward them all to the same email, Welton, so there shouldn't be a problem with that. I haven't had a problem with it. Because I don't think they can track that forward. I'm almost positive they can't. From Steve. I mean, I personally just like doing it on my own, Steve. That's just the way I am. If you want to use it, it's up to you. But I just like doing it manually myself. From Don. Either way is fine, Don. You can do either one. It's just preference. I personally don't like having best in the domain name that much, so I wouldn't go that exact example. But either way is fine. And again, that's just my preference. From Naima. Yeah, just make sure you've gone through the orientation, Naima. Go through the supremacy section to learn how to build your PBN, and a good place to start is the My City Guide or My City SEO, because that gets you a ranking you can show to people, and it can also get you clients coming to you. From Rob. The latest videos, Rob. So if you see something in an old video that contradicts something in a new video, and we keep up with that as much as we can, but the new video would trump the old video. Okay? But we keep the supremacy section pretty clean of that because that's like the main section. So you should be okay with that, and just report anything that you're like, or ask any questions that you're confused with. Like if there's like information that kind of contradicts each other, let me know and we'll get it fixed. But we try to change that as much as we can. No, .infos are fine for a PBN, Neil. Again, it's about the links going to it. For a money site, I would say do not use .info though. From Welton. I mean, I've bought sites for as much as 25 grand, Welton. Only one site actually. Besides that site, I've never gone over 6 grand. And usually I'm not going over a few $100s in 99% of the time. And actually, I would say 90% of the time I'm not going over a couple hundred. So it just depends on the quality of the domain and what I need it for and when. From Pris. Not at pre-release. At GoDaddy auctions, you can get them for less than $69. Slav. I'm not sure exactly what they stand for, Slav. But the main thing you want is different C-class IPs. So that C-class being different. But of course, different A and B are good. The more different they are, the better. I don't know too much about like the technical what stands for what though. All right, cool. So we're actually caught up on questions here. And again, anyone that's new, the best way to do this is to go through the content first and write down questions that you have, and then come to these sessions and ask questions. Very welcome, Rob and Anthony from Slav here. I don't know exactly what happened, Slav. I just always set them up, like I said, where more links are going. I think there is some type of auto redirect that happens, but I just set it up just in case whatever way that has the more links. From Jasmine. Yeah, I mean, you can use anything you want to create websites, Jasmine. Wix.com is fine. Because, I mean, the main thing it comes down to is just the optimization. What's the URL and what anchor text you're using. Those are the main things. And, of course, what your title is. That's, like, the third most important thing. From Jacqueline. Yeah, you can do SEO for another country, absolutely. From Tom. Yeah, absolutely, Tom. And I know there's plenty of UK people that do local SEO, and you can talk about that in the Facebook group, Tom. Because I know that we got a lot of UK people that do that. So if you want to, talk about that in the Facebook group. But yeah, you can target US from the UK, absolutely. From Doug. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Doug. I mean, the only reason I access the cPanel is to set up the email for the site and then set up WordPress. So I'm not sure exactly what you're asking or why you need that access, but I mean, the only reason I really use cPanel is for those reasons. You're welcome, Carol. Jacqueline. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Jacqueline. I like Sydney SEO services. Now, if you had like best in there, I wouldn't like that as much, like best Sydney SEO services, because that just doesn't sound as natural. Sydney SEO services is fine. I mean, that kind of sounds like a business name to me. Alright, so we do got a few more questions in. We're at the hour mark, but I'm going to get these last questions in. Of course, as I said, if I need to, I'll schedule extra sessions. Like, if we didn't get through all the questions, I have no problem scheduling more sessions. Alright, from Michael. Okay, Michael says the IP stuff, they're just networking terms that divide the network into subnets. You're welcome, Don. And thank you, Michael. From Candace. I would say about $2 to $3 per IP is the average price, Candace. From Neil. You're very welcome. Paul. Full PBN link. It depends how many sites I'm linking to. Like, for example, for my eSig site, I have so many eSig sites that sometimes I might link to up to like 4 to 5 sites in one post. And sometimes I need to check like what previous anchor text I used and all that. So it can take up to 15-20 minutes for a post like that. But if it's just like a post where I'm just doing one site, 5 to 10 minutes at most. Just it depends how many links I'm doing and how much I have to look into my previous anchor text. You're welcome, GR. From Slav. I don't think you need to change the SOA records for host 9, Slav, because they use like a generic email for their SOA records. So you actually don't have to change it with host 9, so don't worry about that with them. What I mean by generic is they use the same for everyone, so they can't track through that email because everyone gets assigned that same email, so it's not a big deal. From Welton. Yeah, that's fine to do, Welton. Just be careful that your shared hosting sites don't have the same IPs. You can check that pretty easily. But yeah, that's fine to do. Is create a new shared hosting account for each money site you have. That's totally fine. From Paul. Yeah, it just really varies, Paul. I mean, you got a site like this that has like one or two links going to it, and it's ranked number one. Like my friend's site, Delaware Barbershops. This has one link onto it and it's number one. But then you got stuff like KLKS for really competitive terms like electronic cigarette reviews, number two for that, and this probably has over 100 links going to it. So it just really depends on the competitiveness of the keyword. All right, so let me see if we got any more questions. We're over the hour mark, but again, I'm not too worried about that as long as we're getting your questions answered here. So we got a few more. So any final questions, just put them in now. Looks like we're pretty much out of questions for the most part. And again, just make sure you guys go through, especially you new people, go through the content, write down questions, come and ask them. Don't. If we need to, we'll schedule as many office hour sessions. You're promised one a week from me, but again, we want to make sure you get your questions answered. We have no problem scheduling extra sessions, so just do your job and go through the content and ask questions, and I'll make sure to go above and beyond to make sure all your questions are answered. All right. From Low. Yeah, if a site has a spam penalty, Webmaster Tools will tell you low. So you can just set up like a fake Gmail account, register the site under Webmaster Tools, and you'll get a message if it has a spam penalty. You're very welcome, Steve. And then Doug. I forget what your question was, Doug. Oh, okay. No. All the plugin stuff is WordPress related, Doug. I wouldn't worry about that with the cPanel. Alright, so mostly thank yous coming on. Give it 30 more seconds for any final questions. Alright, cool. Looks like we're good here. Let me get one final screenshot. And again, guys, please, please, please go through the content and write down your questions, because that's the best way to learn. Most of our successful students, that's what they did. They went through the content, they wrote down questions, they came and asked questions. So just please make sure you do that. We want to get your questions answered, but you got to have the questions for us to answer them. All right, from Carol. Yeah, you can rid spammy links with the disavow tool, Carol. From Tom. Yeah, you can do that, Tom, but that can be a little suspicious, especially if you're doing it for all your links. I typically like to do the links when I do my content. Just that's me personally. I haven't tested a ton with doing that, Tom, but I did test with changing a whole bunch of anchor text, like on existing content, and it did not go well. So, when I need to change an anchor text, I usually just delete the post and do a new post. And then when I want a link, I put up new content and put the link in the content when the content goes up. From David. Yeah, just make sure you write them down, David, because then when you come, you can just fire them all at me. Like, for example, Slav in the beginning, he had the first 10 questions. He had his questions ready. So just whenever you had a question, write it down. I don't care if you have 30 questions. Just write them down and ask them. We have no problem with that. From Elliot. I mean, it's probably a double-edged sword, Elliot, where it means it's not going to get you a ton of it's not going to get a ton of searches, so you're not going to get like a ton of traffic for it, but at the same time you can rank easy for it and get the little bit of traffic that it does get. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. From David. Rarely, David, if they're like really, really high authority foreign language links, then I will use them if I can get them for a decent price. But for the most part, I don't use them. And it's not that they don't work. It's that I think it's something that can be easily tracked in the future, whereas they can correlate foreign anchor text going to a site about a different language, which doesn't happen often. So I just think it's something that they can easily slap, even though it still works now. It's something they can easily change in the future, so I stay away from them. Just kind of thinking of the future. From Jay. Yes, all of the previous sessions are archived, and they should be in the member section. I'm not sure exactly where David keeps them, but they are in there. And we always do a recorded session. So like there will be a replay of this up probably by tomorrow. All right, and you're all very welcome. All right, all thank yous. Thank you. All right, last screenshot here. I got a couple more questions, then we'll roll. Oops. All right, where were we? All right, from Slav. You wouldn't want all your PBNs on host 9, Slav. Like maybe you could do the first 10 on there. And I don't use host 9 for PBNs anymore. All my current PBNs that are on there, I'm leaving on there, but I'm not using them for any new PBNs because Todd Spears found some type of something with them that's not like the greatest thing. I don't know what he found, but I'm just going off his advice and not using them for further PBNs. All right, but yeah, I mean, if you do use them, just don't do like a ton on there. Like if you have 30 sites, don't do all 30 on there. Maybe do like 5 to 10, and then do the rest on different hosts. Okay. From Steven. Orientation, Steven, and then the supremacy section. Okay. And last one from Low. Yeah, oh yeah, that's absolutely fine, Low. No problem with that at all. A couple or a small portion of foreign links is fine, as long as it fits the picture. Like for example, I've had a PBN before that was like a government type site, and it had a few links from foreign government sites. And that's totally fine. But yeah, if it's like all foreign, I'd be very careful about that. All right. All right. And again, thank you for all the thank yous. Again, if you have questions, just please make sure you have them written down so we can get those answered. Because a lot of the times the questions, it's the small things when you get an answer like a little question that gets you the success. It's like a very small wall that you got to conquer, and it's just asking a little question to get over it. So just make sure you ask any questions you have. There's no question that's dumb or too simple. Everyone's in a different spot. So just please go through the content and ask those questions. All right, I'm going to end this session now, guys. The recording will be over to David today, and then he should have the recording up by tomorrow if you missed anything. And I will schedule my next session probably in the next week or so. All right, and then if we ever go way over where I can't get to the questions, we'll just schedule another webinar for the week. All right, everyone. I will see you all on the next webinar. Talk to you all soon.